Welcome back. All right, so we're going to talk about a Slovakian player who could go in the top 10. I'm wearing Buffalo because I've already worn the jerseys of everybody else drafting in the top 12. So the reality is that Dalibor Dvorsky probably going to be gone by the time Buffalo picks, but hey, maybe, right? Because this year's draft is seen as kind of being all over the place. So he's a center slash right winger, although by all reports, NHL teams would look for him to play down the middle. He's 6'1", 185 centimeters, 201 pounds or 91 kilos. So, from a physical perspective, he seems to be ready. And he has been ahead of the curve when it comes to his development, so it's possible that he ends up being one of the more NHL ready players out of this year's draft class as well. So, 2021-2022 playing for AIK, their junior 20 team, so under the age of 20. 33 games, 20 goals, 20 assists, 40 points last year. So that was a real head turner. Then playing against men with IAK as well. In the league that's below the SHL, so the second league in Sweden, 17 games, 2 goals, 1 assist, 3 points. This year, again, playing for the junior under 20 version for IAK, or AIK, sorry. 10 games, 10 goals, 11 assists, 21 points. So he's fine at the junior level, doesn't have anything more to prove there. And then against men, 38 games, 6 goals, 8 assists, 14 points. Good numbers. He put up very good numbers. This is a team in AIK that was trying to better themselves and maybe challenge themselves to get into the SHL. From what I was reading, it doesn't look like they did this year, but it's one of those interesting things in European leagues, how you have your Premier League and then you have the leagues below. No, it'll never happen in North America, and it's too bad. I really wish that hockey, baseball, and various other sports had done that in the beginning. Have your pro, your top, and then your league beneath, and then you could have guys go back and forth. It would definitely discourage tanking, right? If you know, okay, we'll tank, we'll get the number one draft pick, and then we end up in the American Hockey League for a couple of years potentially. It would definitely hurt the tanking. So, the ranking for Dvorsky is pretty simple. He's 11th on Elite Prospects list. He's 10th on Hockey Prospects, so they're lined up there. McKeen's has him at 7th. Sportsnet has him at 11th, and the Hockey News has him at 6th. So he is likely to go in the top 10, but again, I'm wearing Buffalo because I haven't worn Buffalo yet. They drafted 13th. So he's a 200-foot player. Again, if you have a center that can play at both ends of the ice, that's good. And again, he's projected as a center. Good puck handler at top speed, and I saw multiple reports on how at top speed he's very good. But one thing he needs to work on is the creative aspect. So he has the top speed, and then he'll take like a wild shot that may not have a very good chance of going in. The reality is he's got an excellent wrist shot, which I saw one comparison of him to Sakic when it comes to the wrist shot. But he needs to work a little bit more on being a little more creative, trying to fool defensemen and fool goaltenders, and not take the simple play. But again, that's just good coaching. You can get that all figured out. So he's a good skater. He's not considered to be like one of the more elite skaters in this draft class, but he did work on his edge work, and that seems to have improved as the season went along. So that'll help with the creativity as well. He's not seen as a natural athlete. He's one of these guys who's going to have to work at it a little bit more than the others. And that's the thing. He does work at it. The work ethic is supposed to be very good. His playmaking also improved during the season. So his playmaking was seen as potentially being a weakness, but as the season went along, he got better at that, which may have something to do with his skating. Once your skating gets a little bit better, you're better suited to set yourself up so that you can make those big plays and those smart passes and whatnot, right? He's seen as a safe pick. Like even if he only achieves that floor where you have your ceiling and your floor, well, even the floor for Dvorsky isn't that far below the ceiling, and so he's seen as a pretty safe pick. Should be a National Hockey League player, no questions asked, and that's going to cause the team to probably take him a little bit sooner than we might expect. He impressed at the Combine, really good interviews, apparently performed really, really well. That's going to cause his stock to potentially rise as well. It feels like he's higher on the list now than he was the first time that I did one of these prospect videos. And I've talked about this. This year's draft class, once you get outside of the top 3 or top 4, it really is kind of all over the place as to who's going to get taken where. But he has a very good shot. He has really strong offensive instincts. He thinks the game very, very good at high speed. It's just a matter of getting a little more creative, maybe a little more work on his skating, and then you're good. He's a big player. His game projects to be very solid in the National Hockey League. He is signed to play in the SHL next year, Probably not going to play in the NHL right out of the gate, but at 6'1", 201 pounds, he may get a cup of coffee. He may get that 9-game workout in the NHL to see how things are going to go for him going forward. But it is interesting because, of course, Slovakia has been producing some really good young talent, and Dvorsky appears to be the next in a long line of really strong, young, talented players that they've been developing. So kudos to them for that. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Remember, the draft is next Wednesday. So I will be doing a mock draft. Dvorsky probably ends up in the top 10 on that. I will go over it, and I will make sure that I've got it all plotted out ahead of time. And yeah, we'll see how accurate mine ends up being. You don't do mock drafts after the draft. That's just called reporting on the draft. But at any rate, let me know your thoughts. Who do you think ends up picking Dvorsky? And Sabres fans, if he ends up falling to 13th, I think you'd be quite happy with that. But let me know your thoughts. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.